Wow, what a day that was yesterday. Hearing this bike fire up properly for the first time. Absolutely stoked. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Easy Restorations. Today we will be getting the bike out of the shed. I forgot to put the gearbox oil in, so I need to put that in today. Get it out there. Get the exhaust bolted on properly because it's only really being held on by the flipping two exhaust studs at the moment. And yeah, get that choke piece sorted out and get the side panels on. Get it looking like a bike. What I'm going to do, it did spit and splutter a little bit, so what I'm going to do, where I've put that original jet back in, the 90 jet, which was in the original car, I need to take that needle out of that slider and put that needle in so it pairs up with that jet, doesn't it? So, schoolboy error, see how that goes. Anyway, yeah, just started up just now, just fired it up. It wouldn't start without the choke. Put the choke on, boom, put it off, there you go, great. Okay, lots to do, shed to tidy, lots of bits and pieces going on, and hopefully today will be the last episode, and then we can start thinking about the Aerial 3 BSA. Now that's something to get my teeth into, isn't it? Okay, right. Oh, the CB250 RS, I need to sort that out as well, get that carb blown through. It always seems to be the carburetors, doesn't it? There we are. So, right, okay, let's do it. There she is, Red Rooster, and all her beautiful gloriousness. Yeah, I've been running it. What else have we done? I've bolted on the exhaust pipe. I can see why this exhaust pipe was only 23 quid. Bloody hell, that's hot. It's because these holes don't line up, so I've had to jiggery-pokery, and I've managed to get some in. That one at the bottom there, as you can see, is different. That's an M8, that's an M6, and I've put a lock nut on the inside. And the bottom nut there, that comes from this bracket going around the seat, around the mudguard, rear fender. Uh-oh! Two-stroke spitty oil spill. I'll get shot. Blow your nose, go on. That's it. Yeah, gear oil. There is the gear oil, there is the drain plug, there is the fill plug. Now, I don't know exactly how much was supposed to be in there, but I just squirted in using the old pump-a-doodly-doodly. Pump, 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 squirt, 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 and then it started dribbling out, so I put that in. It's got a new brass copper washer on the back of it. That's all nice and tight. The rear brake cable is clamped up underneath there. So yeah, that's all good. Got the old return spring in there underneath. There you go, it's all set. And there's the wear limit there. So we're quite away from it yet, even though that's the is that the original shoes? One of them sets the original, front or rear, can't remember. So yeah, now I'm doing the carburettor. She ticks over lovely, and literally there is no smoke on tick over. But when you bean it, it's like flipping Batman's smoke screen. Honestly, I couldn't even see daylight. So that's the two-stroke oil that I put in the fuel tank like an idiot because the oil pump wasn't working, but it is now. But there we are, it's what it is. Right, so carburettor. Now, basically, the air cleaner grommet sits over here, and the body of the air cleaner is sort of my left-hand side of my finger. So basically, there. So what I'm going to do is, on fully open, I am going to take this shaft back out, take that locating peg I put in there out, and I'm going to turn this round to here. So that's sort of midway, so up is whatever and down is off, or up, on and off, whatever it is. So I'm going to have to route the cable from above. That's not a problem, it's actually better. And then what I'll do is I'll shave off this plastic here. So that shaved off part will now be here, if you see what I'm saying. Alright, if you can imagine that round a bit further, another sort of 40 degrees that way. That bit will be sort of here, won't it? So I need to just shave off all the plastic there so it doesn't foul on the air cleaner housing. Once that's done, hopefully, I can put all the panels back on and take it up and down the road when no one's looking. Well, actually, they won't be able to see me, will they, because of the cloud of smoke? Ah, dearie me. So, yeah, fuel tank's full. Everything works on it electrically, indicators, brake lights, horn, fuel gauge, you know, oil level light. I just need to change that lamp on the high beam because that's not working. So what I might do though is just take off that little bit of black cowling underneath the handlebars, just in front of you, and just make sure all the connections are pushed in before I get into trying to pull that bloody lamp out of there. And then it's literally chuck a bucket of soapy water over it, and it's done, isn't it? I do need to address my severe lack of painting skills, in that the lacquer I applied in many layers has sort of orange peeled in a few places, but hopefully my new mop with a light cutting compound on it, that should bring that back flat. Or I might even use a very fine round paper disc on it, something like a 1500 or an 1800 paper or 2000 paper, just to get rid of those ripply bits and flatten it off, and then go over it with the mop and the polish. You know, I think it looks really good. I'll tell you what, I want to get it off the main stand. Oh, talking about main stand, I've got to do some welding, haven't I, lads and lasses? Where is it? Oh, no you don't. I've got to weld this piece on, so I'll be doing a bit of welding today, and then I will be hammerwriting with a paintbrush the whole main stand underside there. So that'll be like that in a bit, and I'll be trying to melt that on, melt the metal together. Yeah, where was I going with that? Oh, I went to get off the main stand. Now, honestly, you push a bike forward to sort of put off the main. I only threw it through the front of the shed. Like flipping heck, it's like a packet of quavers that weighs. Unbelievable. Can't stop looking at it. Right, I've got to get my finger out because it's gone midday, and I really need to get myself sorted out because there is so much to tidy up in there. I had a little bit of an accident with my crimp box. There's my crimp box with all my crimps in it. Well, no, not all my crimps in it, probably a third of them, because the rest of them are over here. they fell off the foot plate. It was like, I think it was that night where everything was going wrong, which probably stands to reason, doesn't it? But there we are. Okay, right, lots to do. No time to funny around. Let's get that choke cable mechanism sorted out. Well, not cable, but the mechanism sorted out. And then all I need to do is take off the right hand engine, left hand back panel, red panel, with the drill a little hole in the panel. Choke cable, jobs are good. Right, let's go for it. Right, I think I'm there. Huge awooga. Let's have an awooga. I just scared the shit out of the neighbours. Never mind. Right, carburetor is back on. I've tried both sliders with needles in there differently. There's the choke now there. So that's open, that's closed. Simple as. It's not failing that. The air cleaner's back on, therefore it's getting the right air fuel mixture through. You know what the best part is? She hardly smokes. Beautiful. Purring away there, absolutely purring away. Right, I'm just going to put it back together now. All the Tupperware, and let's get down the road. Let's see what happens. Can't wait. I really can't wait. Good morning, one and all. Welcome to Easy Restorations. This is me and my little shed. This is where I sort of put the world to rights. Really, get on my soapbox and have a bit of a rant sometimes at shit. Basically, I restore bikes, all shapes and sizes. Right, what am I on at the moment? I'm on the NH80, the Honda Vision DX. I can't remember what year that. I think this is 89 or 90, something like that. And yeah, it's back together pretty much. I was waiting on one thing, wasn't I, Mr. Spider? Yes, you were. And that is a choke. cable, and here is my chokey cable, and it's pretty much like an old, like a mini or Morris Minery sort of thing. You pull out the choke cable and twist it, and it sort of locks it in position so it doesn't go in and out. Hello, Quality. Say hello to everybody. This is Quality, Winston, quality control technician. Yeah, he's just made sure everything is technically alright out there, which is good. So I need to put this choke cable, manual choke cable, on my bike because I have put a Chinese carburetor on because the old Honda one was no good, and this has a manual choke. Choke on, I think. Let's have a look in the old butterfly there. Down is on, up is off. Right, so up off. I've got to remember that. Choke. No, up on. Yeah, up on. No. Yeah. Down is on, choke's on, up is off. Right, let's get things sorted. Now, I need to... I've already had to modify... Well, this butterfly and arm assembly was on the other side if you've watched my previous video. And now I've converted it. Watch the other video before this one, and then you'll see how I've gotten to this stage. Now, obviously, to pull the choke on, to close the butterfly, which is in there, you see a butterfly in there, look. See, when it's closed, it forces more fuel in, basically cuts the air off, to not completely, obviously, as it wouldn't work, would it? And then as you open, the engine warms up, you allow more air in, and then you have, when the engine's warmed up properly to operating temperature, you have the correct air-fuel mixture to run economically. And that's what a carburetor does, basically, isn't it? Okay, right. So as I say, to put the choke on a cold morning, it needs to be down. Therefore, the cable needs to run now from below, doesn't it? To pull that down, and then push it back up to open up the carburetor. Okay, so I have been tinkering around. Last night I was in the shed and I thought, have a little look, see what you can do with it, where to locate it. Basically, I am fixed with this length of cable or less, i.e. if I only need sort of, a foot of it, I can chop that off. Obviously, pull the inside out, pull the inside cable out, cut that nipple off of there, take that out. So you basically got just a black. You chop it off, and then you put your inner core back in, and you cut it off to where you want it, and obviously solder up the end so it doesn't all fray out everywhere. Okay, let's take that off for a start. I've got me brew. Oh, a nice bit of coffee. It's a gorgeous day today, absolutely beautiful. So, where am I at with this bike? Basically, I need to convert this choke, and then pretty much just go over it with a fine tooth comb, make sure everything's tightened up, nip up and down the road on it, check the brakes, make sure they're sort of bedding in. Do the running in process, get it MOT'd, and it's ready to go. It's ready for on the road. So anyway, in my train of thought last night, I took the battery cover off. There's the battery cover, one on there. I took that off, and I thought, well, let's undo the bolts which hold this black piece in. Now, before we go too much further with that, I also have this dilemma. This is the boot unlock. Here's the cable, and when you pull that, click, and the boot uncatches, and that's supposed to sit here in a plastic shroud which goes over there. There's a handle to lift the bike up onto its main stand, but this panel is missing. I do not have this panel. I cannot find one anywhere. There's one in Germany. It's about 35-40 quid. I'm not paying that. So what I was thinking of doing was getting a piece of plastic and literally cutting out 10mm bigger, like that, and then sort of plastic welding it on the inside of this panel and cutting out the groove here so you can still get your fingers in to lift the bike up. Isn't that right, Quality? Yes. Oh, he's got his chicky paw. Look at that. He eats chicken paws from the freezer. Yes. Don't fake it and pretend you don't, because you do. So what I'm thinking of doing is somehow moving them cables in the back there upwards out the way, and then drilling what looks to me like a 20mm hole or 22mm hole in here. Okay, so that's in situ, but I need to go and get the keys out from indoors, because I need to know whether that mechanism there moves that way or that way, and then I can orientate this as it should be. Okay, so that's that. And then I also need to find out where to route my choke cable. Now I'm thinking somewhere out the way. I've fabricated a carrier bag holder which goes on that bolt there like that. So when you go down the Chinese, you've got somewhere to hang your carrier bag between your legs. You know, up there for thinking, down there for dancing, isn't it? So where would the choke cable sit best? You know, I'm thinking somewhere about here. So it's, you know, it's in between your legs, under the seat, out the way, not quite too conspicuous. But then I had to think to myself, well, what's behind here? And if I run my fingers up underneath, about 10mm up, it literally about 15mm up, there's a piece of plastic that runs along behind this front fascia. Okay, so let's take this off, this plastic piece. It does come off fairly easily, he says. 1, 2, buckle me shoe. Right, off you come. What are you doing? What's appertaining here? Okay, right, I've just got this off the bike with a bit of a fight. Yeah, there's a nice area there to drill into. So what's okay? So that's that piece of plastic that's 15mm up. So we need to go above there. So 15mm above there would be there, roughly. So that's a good 10mm between there and there. So 10mm above this would be sort of, oops, shit, sort of there somewhere. But and is there a route through? There's the 2 fuel cables, the vacuum, well, the vacuum and the fuel pipe that goes through this. So right, let's poke my cable. Perhaps would it go through there? Yes. Okay. So that's that. Right. Now let's route this just below that cable, like so. Give that a bit of a poke. Where's that coming out? There it is there. Right, I need to get that out of there, don't I? Okay, I basically use my flat tip screwdriver in that little hole and sort of hook this cable out of there. So let's pull that through. How much have we got up here? So that's pretty much done, isn't it? I think that nut comes off. Yeah, that nut comes off of there. So I need to drill what looks to me like a 10mm hole here. Yeah, to put that cable through and do the lock nut up from behind. So I guess it's going to fit about there, which is jolly good, isn't it? That's not a bad route, that, and it's a fairly straight cable. Okay, so now we're here. Let's see what we can do with this. If we pull that up round and sort of, I don't know, sort of clip it onto that airbox there. Let's have a look. Closed. Open. Perhaps angle it up a little bit. I reckon that's going to work, guys, don't you? That's nice and tidy there. It's not on display. I just need some sort of clampage to drill through into the airbox there. Just to literally clamp that cable there, don't I? Now, I will have to drill or cut a slot in this arm. I've got about 4mm to play with, depth. Oops, sorry. well, I mean depth, I mean there. I've got about 4mm to play around with. So once I cut a groove, perhaps up the bottom, excuse me, it sounds a bit rude, up to the centre of this lever. It's gone a bit out of focus. Let me just stop it there and start again. Right, that's better. Once I've drilled a groove sort of from the bottom to the midpoint, and then drilled a slightly larger diameter hole so that nipple actually sits into it, I then need to clamp it in somehow, don't I? Let's have a look. Oh, I've had a bit of a clean up. Look at the shed. Look. Proper work spaced up. Now I've got this sort of general kit that has various little clamps in and nipples and screw bits and that. So I could, yeah, basically utilise one of them to just pinch up the other side of there. What do you reckon? Just to hold that in so it doesn't sort of just push when you put the choke off, it doesn't just push through there, it actually pushes the lever up. I reckon I'm onto something there. Right, I'm going to get my drill out and I'm going to start being a little bit drastic with the drill. The only thing I need to consider really is heat, isn't it, guys? Because this will be getting rather hot. This is the shroud which shrouds the cylinder barrel, and obviously it's going to be getting a bit warm, isn't it? So I'm going to need to sort of run it somewhere where it's not going to be directly touching on there. Or probably the easiest route on that would be to put some heat shrink over it and shrink it up. That will just protect this plastic black PVC sort of outer cover, won't it? Right, let's crack on. I hope everybody's keeping well in these dark times. If you're having any sort of depression or anxiety, drop me a line. iTalk, they're quite good to help you. Have a word with them, just have a chat with them, that kind of thing. There are other institutions out there which help people like myself and perhaps some of you guys. Yeah, I've been up and down. I'm okay at the moment. I'm pretty good. I'm able to concentrate, which is my big trigger. I know when I'm going downhill, when the black dog's pulling at me leg, because I just lose all will to do stuff on the bikes, and I can't concentrate. And the migraines, of course. I've just had a couple of tablets, but I think that's just lack of sleep because I've got other things going on, as you guys know. Yeah, so yeah, reach out for help. Talk to somebody if you're really in a bad way. Even if you just drop me a line and I'll chat to you or whatever. It's a problem shared's a problem halved. It isn't a cure, is it? It's just reaching out and asking for help because it's out there. Okay, right, let me crack on with this bike and get this choke cable installed, and we'll see where we're going to go from there. Okie dokie, matey. Okay, I've been beavering away, and here we have our choke cable in situ. Unfortunately, that sort of flat edge, there before it starts going like that, I forgot completely about putting this lid on, so I've had to chamfer off a bit of that choke cable, you see, so the lid goes on and off. So that's good. So that's good. Right, and there we are. It's through there and it's lock nutted on. I've put 2 layers of red heat shrink on there, it should just absorb the heat, shouldn't it? So that's pretty good. It's a light colour as well, so it won't absorb it completely. Right, let's get it in and see if it actually fits. I've also drilled the pilot hole for the seat lock mechanism wherever I've lost it. Let's carry on. Right, progress is jumping along rather nicely. Let's slam the seat down. Okay, that is well and truly shut. Let's turn the key. There you go. Seat opens. Jolly good, madam. Right, so that's that sorted. Now, chain cable is in situ. That's pretty cool, and it's run through to there. Now I just needed to fix it to the side of this airbox housing without letting any sort of unjust air or water in, because obviously the air comes in the top via this, which is right up there. So with that cap on it to stop water going in. So what I've done is I've drilled an exact hole like so. I've got a mini hose clamp, the smallest one I've possibly got, and that piece of rubber in there was basically, now do you know those when you buy attachments to go around your handlebars, you get this like rubber strips in there. Anyway, I've sort of doctored an old strip I found in my drawer of surprises. That's why I always say never throw anything away. So I've managed to open up this far enough to get that rubber clamp in there, and there it is, nicely, and it grips that cable really nicely. Now all I've got to do basically is offer it up to there and screw it up. See if I can do it by hand. So if I can do a hand job on it. Yeah, that's, oh shit, that's not bad. And then once it's gone through, I literally put a nut on the back side. I'll make sure it's a little, I've got a little what is that, M4, got an M4 lock nut in there somewhere. Oh, quality, what's the matter? Okay, so let's wind that up. You winding me up, son? So that's gripping that pretty darn tightly, and we've got a little bit of threadage going on in there. Let's just do it all the way up. It's not going to hurt, is it? I'm not going to. There we go. That's spot on. So at closed position, we have full extension of the thing, and when we pull it, it should go to about there. Once I've done something to here, what I might do is just drill cut a tiny little slit, like I say, a hole big enough to hold that nipple in there without going right through, so it doesn't pull it out of this lever. And then I might go over it with some sort of body clamp, you know, panel clip or something, just to lock on there, just to make sure that that doesn't come off. Super duper, isn't it? You know, I could even put a tiny series of tiny little springs on there just to make sure that it returns back fully, and it's quite a tidy job, isn't it? Right, let's get the nut on the back of there, get the air cleaner back in, which is nicely soaked in oil, where it was until I sprayed freaking brake fluid on it, trying to get the bike going. Anyway, let's not tattle over that. Let's not how does Jezza say it? Let's not get bogged down with stuff like that. Okay, right, getting there, eh? Yes, those Winnie. Oh, clamped. Let's sort of suspenders you over here. Get an M7 on there. Oops. It is definitely M7 because I've just dry tested one out of the box. Come on, you little sausage. Let's get that bracket up out of the way. That's it. Oh, let me do this. Okay, lock nut on and done up. Air filter in and sat nicely on its seat. Right, let's pop this cover on. Like so, that's that. And then we'll put this cover, this clip over the top. That's been plastic coated, as you remember. I love that process, that was absolutely brilliant. Right, that's on, and that needs to go on there like that, and then that pops it into the little hole like so. Oops, there we go, that's it, it's all back together. That's the job's a good one. Now I've just got to fix this to the lever somehow. And obviously I can adjust that forward or backwards slightly if need be. Getting there. I think it's time for another brew and perhaps a nice sandwich. A nice bit of bacon, I reckon. I'm happy with that seat lock. That's actually tidier than, I guess, up in here. I don't actually know how that fit, because it's such a long thing, that barrel, with the lever on the back of it, and to try and put it in there, that must have flipping hit something there. Anyway, I think it's better like that, and I will endeavour to find a piece of plastic trim and cut out that shape at my leisure, because I just don't care anymore. I just want to get this bike working up and down the road, big smiles. Just check that I've got that oil pump set correctly, because that is actually key. You have to get that little lever when you pull the throttle. Not only does it open up the slider to let more fuel in the carb, more fuel and air, the other part of the cable, it splits off into two. It's like a Y cable, if you like, and the other one goes to the oil pump. That you need 2 mil. As you start turning the throttle, you need 2 mil of nothing before the oil pump lever starts to move. And I had it at, it was, as soon as you touch the throttle, the oil pump arm was moving. Not good. So when it's on full chat, the little marker lines up with the marker on the housing, but it doesn't go past it. Mine was going past it, therefore loads and loads of smoke, plus there was a little bit of two-stroke oil in the petrol anyway, wasn't there? So now I've adjusted that. I've done up the 2 13mm lock nuts each side of the holding bracket for that cable. I've put the rubber boot back on. I've checked all the bolts, nuts and bolts in there are secure and tight. Well, we're nearly there. We are nearly there. Still got a headache, so I might even go and sit in a dark corner actually. Now I've gotten over the hard parts. Yeah, we'll go from there really. What do you think of my little bodge? It's one of them, isn't it? It's one of them. I think I've got the heat shrink just in the right space. We got 3/4 of an inch clear that way as well from the end of that gubbins. It's, you know, it's so nice not to have that bloody silly automatic choke that doesn't really work properly. The amount of people that have said, "Oh God, yeah, do away with it. It's just naff." But I didn't ask how they'd gotten away with it, but I just thought to myself, you know, I used to work on old minis and things like that, hence the choke cable knowledge and the SU carbs and all that sort of nonsense. That's different stuff. But I kind of got me thinking, yeah, I just need something to bolt through, a bit of panning, bit of fairing, a bit of Tupperware, just long enough to kind of reach the carburetor, whether it be from above or below. And that cable was like £3.5 quid, and it just come up, and wow, it's spot on, isn't it? Absolutely spot on. Right, enough waffling. I need to do it very carefully. I think I'm going to get the Dremel out here actually, and just Dremel in from there, just into the middle, and then I can drill through perhaps 2 mil, perhaps 2.5 mil, just so that nipple sinks into the plastic like that. You see, I think I might need to just bring this cable forward 10 mil just to see. I don't want it sort of, that's fully open, so that's full chat. If it's sort of restricting the airflow in any way with the butterfly, you know, closing off the airflow a little bit, that's not what we want. So, but I'm kind of happy with that. There is another way I can adjust this lever, isn't there? And that's by literally drilling a fresh hole above that hole I've drilled there, so that locking pin, the lever will effectively be down there, which actually isn't too bad an idea actually. We'll see how it goes. It might not make any difference going along with that tiny little bit of angle difference on the carburetor butterfly, for the choke butterfly, but it might do. Right, let me get my Dremel out and start dremeling. Brew first sandwich. It's order of the day, sir. Right, just as a bit of an afterthought, I've just found this old door edge, car door edge sort of protector. I've only got one. It's been in my drawer for longer than I have. So I thought to myself, right, I'm going to do a bit of modifying. So I've just eyed it through by holding that next to the bike. And I've come up with this scenario. And I've got my little hole cutter there ready. So I'm going to, it's clamped now in that vise. So I'm now going to raise this bed up to working sort of depth. And then I will gently
out through there, and then we'll see what comes out like, and then you will see what it's for. Okay, well, that's the sort of effect I was after. I know it's a bit Heath Robinson, as usual, because it's easy. And I've had to do a little bit of manipulation of this back there, because of this little clippy sticking up there. Right, let's have a look. You're welcome to live in my space. It's not a bad guess, was it? There. How's that? Just finishes off a little bit, doesn't it? Job's a good one, I reckon. Yeah, I've got to fill that infill bit in there. It saves me cutting out too much, doesn't it, from there? That's not bad, is it? What do you reckon, lads? Hey? Another little bit of tat used up out of my drawers, which is full of tat, as you can imagine. So again, never throw anything away, even if you just got one of a pair. Keep hold of it, because you just never know when you might need it. But don't tell the missus that you've got to keep hold of everything because Easy says so, alright? Because I don't want any hassle, I don't want any lawsuits or nothing like that. Right, now I'm definitely going to go get a brew and something to eat. Bacon sandwich, I reckon's on the cards. Right, and then I need to go indoors anyway because my Dremel is indoors. So, good excuse, isn't it? Right, catch you in a bit. Got Miss Brew number 2. Had an eggy sandwich in the end. Mashed eggy. Right, Posty's been actually while I was having my lunch, and he's bought these assortment of grommets, the small ones, you know, to go through the frames to, you know, accept side panels and such. Yes, it's Chinese rubber, which is probably made out of plasticine, but nevertheless, it's something. And the other thing to turn up was my double USB slotty holy thing like that, which is going to go on the beast that is the Burger, the Scud missile of maxi scooters. That'll be going on there in the summer with the new screen. Oh, can't wait. Right, I've gone for simplicity with this choke mechanism. Basically, it's all beautifully clamped in there. I've literally drilled a hole, popped that in there and glued it. So there's that. I'm going to give that a good hour or so before I start pulling my knob out and twisting it around and seeing if it does its thing. Okay. Right. Oh yes, grommets. Here's a packet I've opened earlier. I've already put one in there. I'm going to put a bit of red grease on there, and yeah, smack it in. That was an original. You see, it's a bit tired, and that. But yeah, there we go. When we get the side panel back on there and get it on there properly, now I can finish that and forget it, and get it all like that, and then I can get it outside, and I can sand off or grind off some area. There, where's me knob bit gone? Oh, there it is. So I can then weld on. You see that? It's like that. You see that goes something like that. That's it. So I can then weld that back on with the old Arctic welder. That'll be good, and I can give that a good coat of hammerite. And go from there, really. Things are looking good. I can't wait to get outside in the sunshine, but I need to remove that bloody chicky paw. It's still there haunting me. Right, now has come the time. I've got my piss pot on. Let's have a look at the bike. The shiny little beastie. That has a Honda NH80. I've got to go over the lacquer. Like I say, I've got to cut it and then mop it. But technically, it is what it is. Right, let's. Well, if I had the key, wouldn't I? I'm just going to pop up and down the road just to make sure it's ready for MOT. Alright, so we'll key in. Ignition. Start a Rooney. Proper. Dead excited, mate. Dead excited. Over to you, madam, cameraman, woman. Like I say, when I disappear out of sight at 1,000 miles an hour, just press stop.
Okay. 1,000 miles an hour.
The G-force. If I don't look like this when I come back, you'll know why, because of the G-force. Prepare for smoke screen.
Go then.
Right to work. Wowzer. Absolutely wowzer. Smooth as. Straight up to 30. Just taking it gently, of course. I'm not going over, you know, over whatever I'm not going over. Just because it's bedding in. Or it's running in. Which means you're basically bedding in the piston in the bore. Letting those rings cut themselves in. I didn't think that was going to ride as sweet as that. I tell you what, torque steer. Don't talk to me about torque steer. And he threw me off on the first corner. Oh, let's get me piss pot off me head. Oh, flippin' heck. Tell you what, beaming. Absolutely beaming. Beaming with happiness that the job's finished. And it goes like that. I can't believe it. It'll be nice when there's proper fuel, 100% unleaded, going through the carburettor, mixing with the oil in the engine, as opposed to having a bit of two-stroke oil in the petrol as well as the oil. A little bit of smoke. It's not huge. When you look in your rearview mirrors, at least you can see it's daylight still, which is a bonus, isn't it? So I am ultra happy. I can't tell you. I really can't tell you. Because it's been sort of spluttering over a certain amount of revs in the shed here, or just outside the shed here. I didn't think it was going to pick up. I didn't think I was going to get over 10 mile an hour, to be honest. I thought it was just going to go blah, 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 but it just, and you can hear the variator sort of upgrading the speed as you go along. It's sort of high revs up to about 10-15 miles an hour, and then you can hear it start to drop down as the speed increases on the speedo. Got up to 30, and I thought, oh, shall I? No, I'm not going to. I'm going to bed the thing in properly. That is fantastic. I'm looking forward to 3,500 miles per gallon. Right, guys, that's going to do it for this job. The Honda NH80. Thank you so much for watching. I will update in the future. It needs a good polish. It needs a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But it's ready. The brakes are beautiful. Everything works on it electrically. And it runs like a flipping sewing machine. I'm yet to do that stand. But I'm just going to pack all my tools away. Get the arc welder out and just finish that little job off. And finish off the day with a little bit of painting. Give it a bit of a hand job. Alright guys, like I say, thank you so much for following me in this journey on this little red rooster. It's been emotional. No, it's been good. It's been one of the more enjoyable ones. You know, the FZ50 there. She is absolutely, she's beautiful. She's absolutely beautiful. Look. And I had as much fun doing that as I did the little Honda here. So, all good, all good. Yes, it was really good. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I'm going to get that booked in for an MOT, perhaps. Don't know, perhaps, I don't know. When, soon. I've got to speak to my friend, my mate that does MOTs. See what time slots he has for me and what days, etc. Right, guys. That's going to be it. Let's wrap this one up. Thank you for watching, like I say, and spending your time generously going through the pain with me that is restoration. Okay, Easy Restoration signing out, and I'll see you next time with a little BSA. Watch this space.